Norwegian photographer stumbles upon a mythical creature while trekking in the Hamnøy mountains. We all have grown up listening to various fairy tales, folk tales, stories of the great warriors, and whatnot. There were some tales that were from the ancient towns that were abandoned and later gave birth to horror stories. Some of them were so engrossing that it seemed to be real, while some were so surreal that it took the form of myths. The North Germanic tales gave birth to the Norse Mythology. Their folklores talked about many mythical creatures and beasts, something which even has piqued the interest of the scholars since the 17th century. However, a photographer from Norway came across a creature over the mountains that was no less than a mythical one. It was too good to be true to be on the planet. What was this creature? Mystical beasts are almost impossible to exist. Even scientists have not been able to track creatures like a unicorn or a mermaid. They are just beliefs that at some point in the past, in some ancient past, these creatures existed in real on Earth. Or did they? Mads Nordstrom, the photographer we are talking about, had a childhood just like any other child. He was brought up in Norway and completed his education there itself. He was raised in a homely environment where he grew up listening to various incidents from Norse mythology, and it was exactly where he had developed a keen interest in literature. As a child of a curious nature, he always had many questions about the existence of monsters, ghosts, humans with deer-like head, and if these tales were fictional. However, none had the answers to his never-ending queries. Little did he know that in the future, he will come across a creature that seemed to have come from one such folktale. As Mads grew old, he left behind all these childhood bedtime stories and called them nothing but a piece of fiction. He then pursued his passion for photography. He loved taking random snaps of various things he came across, but one of his captures of a creature that appeared to have come from another parallel world made him a popular face. As a travel photographer, one often looks for some of the most exotic locations, which are less explored and are worth a capture, and Mads was no different. He had traveled half of the world in such a search. This story unfolded in the small village of Hamnøy, Lofoten Islands, Norway. Mads chose this location for its mesmerizing scenic beauty. Who knew then that this beautiful village will give him something unworldly? Being an island surrounded by water, fishing was the main occupation of the people residing here. This village was even termed as the fishing village. The life on an island is not easy, and there is not much to do either. However, this is one of those places that will fascinate you with its beauty. Even Mads was clueless about this place that has more than just its landscapes. Even in his wildest dream, Mads would have never thought that while capturing the most scenic location, he would come across a creature that, for an instance, would compel him to think that he is daydreaming. This creature seems to have come from another planet, another land. What was this unlikely to exist creature? This is Mads Nordsveen, only 22 years in age. Though he is quite young, his skills in photography are very sharp and professional. He has a good knowledge of various shots and angles, and not only this, but he even has a personal travel blog, which is a witness to the commendable work he has been doing. This village in Norway was a spot that many photographers wished to capture in their lens. It was a perfect blend of beauty and natural colors. The flowing blue water, a clear sky, the harsh mountains, the green grasslands, supporting colorful houses. It was a dreamland, and while shooting this, a creature also marked its impression. Mads started with trekking up the Norway White Mountains. He thought from a height like that, an aerial shot that would give a view of the entire village would be an amazing thing, which could act as his new album cover. He trekked for hours and found a place that was a must to be snapped. Little did he know it was exactly the place where he would feel endangered. Mads was just blown away with the peace and tranquility these mountains offered. He reached a lane which somewhere gets lost in the pine and wood trees all covered with snow. He clicked this incredible picture and even shared it on his Instagram account. And just then he heard some strange sounds. Mads was breathing the fresh breeze, and the cold winds caressed his cheeks lightly. He felt as if he was tasting heaven. Just when he was all lost, cherishing the surroundings, his thoughts were disturbed by some strange sounds, the sounds which were enough to send chills down Mads' spine. Initially, Mads ignored those sounds. He thought maybe he's hallucinating or something, but after a few minutes he heard some sounds yet again. They seemed to be as of two things sliding against each other. Mads got attentive and carefully heard them. The very next moment he was taken aback. Mads recalls that it was extremely cold, and there was barely anyone to be found near him. He was a little scared as the place was really desolate. He turns back to locate the source of the noise. Unfortunately, his worst fears were appearing to come true. He had this horrible thought coming to him that these sounds could reportedly be of an avalanche, and if it comes to be true, he needs to just abandon this place. He decided to follow the sound, and by doing so, he realizes the unexpected. On following the sound and paying close attention to it, Mads realized that the sounds were not coming from an approaching avalanche, as they are very sharp and loud ones. This was some light sounds, like that of an animal nibbling or maybe braying. Mads followed the noises and found something breathtaking. Mads saw some shadow falling from behind the white snow trees. His heart was beating fast. He knew often bears reside in the white woods, and he wasn't sure if they would harm him. As the shadow started moving closer, he was sure that it was some beast that was making those noises. But was it a bear? He was not sure. Soon only his doubts cleared. With a pounding heart, Mads went near the shadow, and when he finally came face to face with the creature, he was stunned. What he was anticipating to be a bear was everything but a bear. It was different. He didn't know what it was exactly, but it was just beautiful. Nordstrom said it was all white, a creature which perfectly camouflaged with equally white snow. It had eyes, 4 legs. It was a lot calm and composed. Something I have never seen before. Something which was found in storybooks. It looked divine, came right from heaven. It was a white beast. Mads was amazed after finding a creature like this out of nowhere in the snow, looking like a calf. Mads had no clue whether this was a domestic or a wild one. He was just mesmerized by its white beauty, something so rare to find. The creature looked serene and gorgeous, all covered in a white body fur with shining deep brown eyes. It looked mind-boggling. One couldn't take their eyes off from. Suddenly, Mads was reminded of the Norse folk tales, which had some mythical creatures roaming up the mountains, which appeared there just to help the lost protagonist find his way. Was it a coincidence or something else? Looking at this unknown animal, Mads was for once more lost in his deep thoughts, where he was wondering if the creature that was believed to occur only in folk tales happens to exist in reality as well. Was this the one which all those North Germanic people talked of? In Norse mythology, the appearance of a white creature like that was indicated as a sign of good luck. It was believed that any man who saw such a creature had all the cards in his favor, and soon only luck would blossom their lives. So was Nordstrom lucky? Once Mads came back to the real world from his imagination, the passionate photographer couldn't resist himself up from capturing this beast with his camera. He immediately takes out various shots of this being. Surprisingly, the animal too did not shy away from the camera. There was something more to come Mads' way. Nordsveen shared one of his rarest finds over his Instagram handle. Surprisingly, this discovery caught much attention. Mads' following raised like anything. His account received likes like a skyrocket, which had just touched heights. Maybe the animal did act as a good luck charm for him, but his ever-curious instinct made him do something more. Mads later shared his experience and said that the whole scene appeared as if he was living one of those Norse folk tales in real. The protagonist climbs up the mountains, smells some danger, and suddenly stumbles upon the unbelievable. To him, it was a dream that he luckily lived. Mads managed to take some shots of this divine creature right before it ran away. Mads sighed a deep breath. He feels really fortunate to have had a glimpse of this unworldly creature. However, he wanted to know more about it and decides to send a few snapshots to an animal expert who could brush his knowledge about the same. Mads was really young, and being a travel blogger, he had very limited knowledge about the animal species. The animal expert told Mads that his charming creature is nothing but a reindeer. However, one thing made this reindeer an exceptional find. Reindeers are native to the snowland, but a complete white reindeer is one of the rarest breeds one could ever come across, and certainly Mads was one of those lucky ones who got to witness such a majestic animal from so close. Moreover, it is not an albino animal. For many of us who don't know what an albino is, it is an animal species that lack the color pigments in the body, leading to a white fur or mane with pink scales on them. Reindeers are naturally non-albino ones, so finding a white one was a rare possibility. As per the animal expert, this might not be the first time that a white reindeer was spotted, but it was the first time that many came to know about it. These creatures are known to stay confined to the white lands and prefer staying hidden in the woods. Mads definitely had the fate in his favor to locate one. One advantage which a white reindeer has in relation to other ones is that they can use their white fur to camouflage themselves in the snow and stay hidden from predators' eyes. It is one of the main reasons that one is not able to easily locate these species. Mads Nordstrom now has a vast media following. He captures not just the traveling sites, but also the indigenous species of the wild that he comes across. What started off with one reindeer now has a lot of other animals. Nearly 176,000 people follow this young photographer. Mads has managed to fully explore his passion and turn into a professional photographer. Not many of us really get to do this. This young soul is experimenting with his skills in various fields, and we wish him the best of everything. Hope he continues to nail it.